welcome to Point of View, where we give students a place to listen, learn, and lean in. I'm your host, Jonah, and today we'll be talking about the ethicality of consuming meat through factors such as the production of most store-sold meats, how some of the livestock is raised, the quality of meats, and the problems of the current production of meat. One of the biggest ethical concerns with the consumption of meat is the mistreatment of animals before they are butchered. Animals raised for meat are often kept in cramped and unsanitary conditions, with little room to move around or engage in natural behavior. They may be subjected to painful procedures such as dehorning and castration without anesthesia. These practices can cause significant stress and suffering for the animals, which raises important questions about the morality of consuming meat. Animals are also constantly given a diet that is unnatural to them and given hormones to make them grow dangerously fast. This can lead to a critical amount of animal suffering, which is not only cruel, but it's also morally questionable. Factory farming, or industrial agriculture, is a way of producing food on a large scale that has serious negative impacts on both the environment and public health. These operations prioritize making money above animal welfare, worker safety, and environmental sustainability. Antibiotics and hormones are commonly added to animal feed to increase growth and prevent disease, but this practice can contribute to antibiotic-resistant bacteria that can harm human health. Factory farming also causes pollution and deforestation and releases greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change. These practices are not sustainable and can lead to significant long-term damage to the environment. As consumers, we have a responsibility to be aware of these issues and support ethical and sustainable farming practices that prioritize animal welfare, worker safety, and environmental sustainability. The way that livestock is raised is also a common significant ethical issue. The use of antibiotics in animal feed is a major problem, as it contributes to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which poses a threat to human health. As said previously, some farmers even practice dehorning and castration without anesthesia, which is very painful to the animals and is a very cruel practice. The quality of meat is another important factor to consider when examining the ethics of consuming animal products. Many of the animals raised for meat are given a diet that is not natural to them and are often given hormones to make them grow faster. These practices can lead to a lower quality of meat, which can have negative health effects on those who consume it. The quality of meat is an important aspect to consider when discussing the ethics of meat consumption. Ethical meat production should prioritize the well-being of animals, which includes providing them with proper nutrition, space, and access to clean water. The way in which an animal is raised and slaughtered can also affect the quality of its meat. In order to ensure high-quality meat, it is essential that animals are treated humanely throughout their lives and are processed in a way that minimizes stress and pain for the animal. Additionally, meat that is produced using sustainable and regenerative farming practices can have a positive impact on the environment and human health. Overall, prioritizing animal welfare and responsible farming practices can lead to higher quality meat that is both ethically and environmentally sound. Furthermore, the current production of meat poses a number of problems that need to be addressed. The use of factory farming practices is unsustainable and it is leading to significant environmental damage. The treatment of animals in these facilities is also a significant ethical concern, as they are often subjected to inhumane and cruel treatment. The use of antibiotics in animal feed is another major issue, as it contributes to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which poses a massive threat to human health. Antibiotics are often used in the production of farm animals to promote growth and prevent disease. However, this practice can contribute to the development of antibiotics are often used in the production of farm animals to promote growth and prevent disease. However, this practice can contribute to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which can cause serious problems for human health, as said before. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria can spread to humans through the food chain, and infections caused by these bacteria can be difficult or almost impossible to treat with traditional antibiotics. In addition to the risk to human health, the overuse of antibiotics in animal agriculture can also harm the animals themselves by leading to the development of antibiotic-resistant infections. This is a complex issue with significant implications for both animal welfare and public health, and there is an ongoing debate about the appropriate use of antibiotics in agriculture and on farm life. An argument that comes up in a meat ethicality debate is the idea that the animals we consume aren't as sentient as us, making it morally just for us to consume them. This is incorrect, since it is an indisputable fact that animals have sentience and complex nervous systems, as do all animals. Animals are intelligent and complex, much more so than some people even realize, and scientists are finding more and more evidence of this all the time. But emotional complexities and intellectual capabilities aside, animals can feel pain just like humans can, and just like us, they value their lives and do not want to needlessly suffer. That said, there is no such thing as humane meat for us to eat. Giving animals a few more inches of living space is simply not enough, and even if their quality of life is high, we still don't have the right to take that life for something as trivial as a particular meal. Animals on organic and free-range farms often endure the same cruel mutilations, such as debeaking, dehorning, and castration, without painkillers, as animals on conventional factory farms do, and at the end of their miserable lives, they are typically shipped on trucks through all weather extremes, usually without food, water, or rest, to the same slaughterhouses used by factory farms. In addition to animal suffering, animal agriculture also contributes to environmental destruction. Raising animals for food requires massive amounts of land, food, energy, and water, and results in polluted land, water, and air. The United Nations has acknowledged that raising animals for food is one of the top 2 or 3 most significant contributors to the most serious environmental problems, at every scale from local to global, and the resources going toward feeding the billions of animals used for food could be used more wisely to combat world hunger and other universal issues. Another argument that comes up in a discussion about meat ethicality is the notion that eating meat is natural and necessary for human health. It's important to consider the ethical implications of this decision, as there are a number of alternative diets, such as vegetarian or veganism, that can provide all the necessary nutrients without contributing to animal suffering or environmental damage. Additionally, reducing meat consumption or choosing to only consume meat from sources that prioritize animal welfare and sustainable practices can also be a step in the right direction. The ethicality of eating meat is a complex issue that requires consideration of multiple factors. The production of most store-sold meats, how some of the livestock is raised, the quality of the meats, and the problem of the current production of meat are all important considerations when examining the morality of consuming animal products. As human beings, it's important for us to be informed about these issues so we can make ethical and just decisions about our own diets. This concludes this episode of Point of View. Thank you so much for listening. For a transcript of this episode, head to the Point of View tab on our website, nhsmessenger.org, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at NHS Point of View for updates and new episodes. I'm your host, Jonah Chadwin, and this has been Point of View.